sharing, I needed caring, alone in the foreign land. She said she worked where the sun didn't shine, and she promised me one hell of a time. I needed sharing, I needed caring, alone in the foreign land. Come along with me and I will treat you up so right, she said to me. I could not say no. I can see you're lonely, I can see you're only young and unsure. I got what you want, boy, I got what you're looking for. I felt so strange when I looked in her eyes. She said, I won't tell you any more lies. I want to cherish, I want to caring, alone in the foreign land. I held her hand to the top of the stairs, and we had our foreign mama affair. I needed sharing, I needed caring, alone in the foreign land. Going back in time, the pictures in my mind just bring her back to me. Did she ever see? She meant more to me than just another one night stand. So much more, 'cause ever since that night I found what I was looking for. Now I think about that night so long ago, when I'm feeling down and all alone. She gave me sharing, she gave me caring, alone in the foreign land, alone in the foreign land, alone in the foreign land.
Hey everybody, thanks for your patience. I'll be with you shortly, just detailing a couple, taking care of some fine last minute details. Be with you shortly. Thanks for your patience. Look forward to giving you a fantastic broadcast here tonight. Hello, everybody. Sorry for the delay on that. Got some technical difficulties I'm just working out on this end. Welcome to the broadcast, and so glad that you had some beautiful
everybody.
Music there.
Sorry
from
for the delay on that.
Fabulous
Got
Eric
some
Swanson,
technical difficulties I'm just working
and
out
his,
on this end.
cronies
Welcome to the
from back in the
broadcast,
day,
and so
and
glad that you had
so
some
great
everybody.
for you
Sorry
all
for the
being
delay
here.
on that.
Well
Got
over
some
1,200
technical
beautiful
difficulties
human
I'm just
beings
working
in
out
the
on
theater.
this end.
I ask you to
Welcome
let's
back
check
in
our
the
coats,
day,
and
and
so great for
everybody.
you coming to the
Sorry
theater,
for
and
the
you
delay
got
on
so
that.
many people. Obviously, you don't want to wear your big bulky winter coat, so if you're new here, welcome.
Let's check our
We do this
coats,
process
and
where we imagine all of our coming to the theater, and you got so many people. Obviously, our ego wrapped up in this huge perfect coat, and we come in from out of the cold, which, by the way, the world right now can be an awful cold place. The internet can be an awful cold place, literally and figuratively. And so I find it very helpful, the internet, to have a space where you can feel safe, where you're not going to be attacked, where you're going to be able to express your opinion respectfully, but also we deal with facts here. So we're looking into facts because there's so much emotion flying around these days that we are looking to dial this in. Hold on one second. There's so much emotion flying around these days that we are looking to dial this in. Hold on one second. There's so much emotion flying around these days that we are looking interesting. Okay, thank you for that, my friend. Let me dial this in, and why don't you stay on with me, okay? Interesting. Okay. Thank you for that. Guys, it's just Todd and Cindy giving me a heads up on some echo, and so I'm going to try to deal with that and get that dialed in here. My apologies for that. Let me hear what's happening through the... I see what's happening. Okay,
sounds good now.
Okay, I figured that out. Okay, it was playing in the background.
Yep.
And so you're not hearing double sound now?
Nope.
Okay. Thank you, brother. Good. One of the technical difficulties I was working on, actually, so obviously I was unsuccessful. Hey, brother, I'll call you here shortly. I want to get you on early.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, see you. Okay. That's going to be, let me see here. I'm still getting some feedback here, guys. Bear with me. Bear with me here. And I want to make sure that we dial this in. And I figured that out. There you go. Okay. All right. I had one of the other channels open. So, all right. Sorry for that, folks. Basically, we are checking our coats. We're imagining ourselves in a safe space here. And so you can check your coat, come on in, make yourself comfortable, and make yourself at home. And we're going to download some real fantastic information for you. And I've got a few things that I want to just get up. I want to see who all's here. Good to see everybody. Sounds good now. Sorry about that, guys. Awesome. It's working. Don't touch anything. Okay. I had to get the feedback out of my ear as well. Good to see everybody. How's everyone resonating tonight? I know we got a lot of stuff going on. We got a lot of stuff to cover. So I'm looking forward to. By the way, guys, ignore the one of the things I'm trying to do is get the donations are for some reason popping up far too much. Like that's not what I intend to do, and so I'm trying to figure out how to address that. And so please ignore that for this evening if you can. I do appreciate the folks that do step up and do that, but I don't want it, in your face, and I certainly don't want you to feel obligated. Cheers, everybody. Happy Tuesday on this fabulous 29th day of December of 2020, folks. The year is almost over, and yet we have much to talk about. So much to talk about. Let me start. So we got our codes checked. I will absolutely want to address something here, but I don't have up what I want to do. So I want to let me do this. Todd, why don't you call back in? I want to get you dialed in while I figure out a few things here. And I know you got some stuff on Scavino, and I've seen some. I've done some dives myself, and I think. And I think we're going to jump right into it, guys. And there's so much going on regarding the happenings with the election and with the shot that everybody is some are clamoring for, some are not. There he is. Hello. Can you hear me? I can. Hi, Cindy. Thanks for the heads up on the echo there. Got that worked out. You just thought it was you. Yeah. So sorry for that, but glad to connect. And how was your day today, and your general thoughts on the day? Yeah, there you go. It's not easy. There you go. I love how you're a prepper. You're a prepper. All you got to do is drop your phone in the water, and you're all set. Yeah. Well done. So we'll get through this. We'll get through this tonight. I think we're working on just one device and your laptop. Okay. All right. Well, will you tell Shelby that we really appreciate that, please? Awesome. Well, great. So, Mr. Tesla mentioned he had a Scavino dive he wanted to jump into, and we are just being told a lot of great stuff. I really, I'm seeing that across the board, and basically all we have to do is know that we are being told certain things, but they're not blatantly coming right out and saying it. So, yeah. Yeah, Todd, how you doing, bud? Okay, there we go. Let me figure this out. I figured that out. Okay. I had to cut that down during the echo, and I needed to bring it back up. Now you're here, yeah?
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Maybe they can hear us now.
All right. Sneds, I was really, honestly, this is one of the few shows where I felt that I wasn't ready to come on tonight, and so my apologies on the hiccups here, but we are back to snuff and up to snuff, and Cindy and Todd can now be heard, I believe.
Fabulous.
All right.
Got a lot of good stuff to go over. You want to be able to hear us.
Loud and clear. I know. Nobody needs to hear me. They just need to hear you and Tesla.
Yeah, right. Thanks for making me laugh there, Dave.
It's true.
It's true.
Blazing
I'm ready
Saddles. reference there.
2021 to come in, as I'm just counting down the hours right at the moment. So.
It's going to be all good here coming into 2021.
Exactly.
All right, folks. Well, we are well over. We're up to close to 2,000 over 6 platforms right now. So happy to be here with you and having Cindy Johnson and Todd Gedominski calling in from Springfield, Illinois. Todd, how you doing, bud?
I'm doing great. I'm
awesome.
I was just looking at some more stuff I was putting together here.
We got a lot of great stuff coming in from the Snedheads today.
Yeah, they were sending me some good stuff too. A lot on the Nashville situation. You know, I'm not going back into that too much. Just talking it up as an FF.
Yep.
Yep. And maybe let that marinate a little bit. Just trying to stay real current on the drops, on the tweets, and the timestamps.
Yes.
So Scavino had one just an hour ago that I happened to get like in the first 8 seconds. I must have had it set up so I could see it, and it just popped up. And it's a pretty good one.
Okay. I am pulling. Let me see. I'm pulling that up now. And let me get this to you. Let me pull this up. And let me see. There we go. So, okay. Now, Scavino right now is, he just tweeted an hour ago, and it's President Trump waving out of Marine One, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah. Just off the top of my head, I see a little dark to light there.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, that's definitely there. And that was, I'm guessing here, but I think that was maybe when he went over Flynn as he was speaking.
I think so.
Previous 2 weekends ago.
Yeah.
Where they made the flyover.
Yep. The other thing I see there is the red line.
Yes, partial red line.
Partial red line, yeah. Interesting wave there.
The other thing I noticed on that immediately was the position of his hand.
Yeah.
In a J.
Mm-hmm.
Which I took as justice. So I immediately went to the 17 drops and punched in justice. And wow, there's a lot. That's a very popular word on the drops.
Yes. So, folks, just so you can see, on we're going to qalerts.app, and we need justice. We're ready. Let's go. Where we go one, we go all. A lot of Snedheads, a lot of digital keyboard warriors are talking about this. They're wanting it badly, like trying to figure out how can we get this, make this happen, because we've been waiting for this for a long time. And I just want to give this example, Todd. If you look at what's happening today with, and let me just pull this up for you. Let's see. I just want you guys to see it when I talk about it, because it has to do with justice, okay? And a lot of people don't understand that that what if justice were to happen now? Okay, well, let me show you a little bit about what justice is right now. Let's go to the Washington Times today. Stacey Abrams' federal judge sister blocks Georgia voter eligibility challenge. What a coincidence. Here is the woman that was absolutely let me see, who was absolutely instrumental in this stolen election in Georgia, and has been working on this for quite a while since she lost her race.
Well,
And
Dave, she didn't
yeah.
lose. She
Oh,
didn't
right,
lose.
right,
Remember?
right. It was taken from her. That's right. Yeah. So not only does she refuse to recuse herself from the voter fraud case because there's an obvious conflict of interest, but that that her sister is ruling in her favor, in the Democrats' favor, in Biden's favor, and against President Trump's favor. Okay? And against, what's more importantly, as a judge, against the rule of law. So I bring that up. I'm sure that you guys have seen that and looked into that. But the reason I bring that up is because everybody wants justice, Todd. We want arrests. We want arrests. We want arrests. Well, here's the problem. There's a lot of corrupt judges that are still involved in what's going to happen to these people after they're arrested. And the part of the problem is, part of the job is, they have to take them out. They have to take these people out. Look, we still have Ray in the FBI. We still have corrupt people in the FBI. Look what happened in Nashville, and we're already seeing, the one man in a RV narrative that nobody buys. Especially when you see that the explosion didn't come from that side of the street.
Absolutely.
Hold the line, riders. Justice is coming. Todd, how many times does 17 need to tell us to hold the line? Justice is coming, and for us to believe and trust it, especially when we see all these things happening, unfolding as they are.
Yeah, it's incredible where we started and where we are now as far as information, and people are still, and myself included, we want to see it happen because we see so much corruption that we're like, well, let's just take it down now. Well, if you do that now, then you leave people in positions that they need to be taken from. So you have to go through the exposure process, and that's what's frustrating because, like we talked last night, the exposure of the judges, the exposure of the legislator, the exposure of the FBI, the exposure of McConnell, the exposure of, it's even getting down to the point where you can see the rhinos because they're voting against things that President Trump is pushing, and we all know those are the right things to do for the country. So it's just the exposure process, and it takes time, and it sucks. I'm with everyone on that. But I also have faith that I've seen so much that you can't discount what we've been through to get here.
Right.
And they're not going to go this far and not finish the job. Just a little bit of patience on our part, and that's hard because we've had a lot of false starts, with information given to us that was saying, like I said last night, I think intentionally given to people that are decoding so that the message gets out to the deep state that we're about to take them down, and then it doesn't happen. Well, what does that serve? It allows the white hats to figure out what their plan is and where everybody's going to run to and what they're going to do when the time comes. So it's all working, towards the goal. And if you look at it, I mean, they've got to be careful and they've got to be diligent to get everybody that they need to get, because you've seen what happened in the past when, President Kennedy, when Reagan, and God, this, it's going on a limb, but this could go all the way back to Lincoln. Trying to take out these powers that we're trying to take out now.
Yes.
And you could go ahead and throw 9/11 in there. So it's not without danger, and it's got to be done on, on their plan. And we don't know that schedule. We weren't in the huddle when the plans were made. Only 10 people know, 7 military generals and 3 non-military.
Yeah.
And there's no way we're going to be able to figure it out completely on the drops. It's just not going to be allowed. So our job is just to hold the line, get the message out to the people, not to panic, to just, relax, chill out, buy some time. It's coming. And just remain patient.
Now, Todd, if that was a picture on any other timeline, going back to Scavino, not in a million years would I do a stretch and call that hand a J.
Right.
But why now?
Well, because we're educated now about their comms. And once we know their communications, I mean, even in the beginning when we were looking at just the drops and what they said,
yeah,
reading the drops as face value, sometimes we would, look at each other and go, what in the hell are they talking about?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And but you couldn't wait to read the next one.
Right.
And that's the way it went all the way, for the first, I don't know, 2 years at least.
Yep.
And then this last year, we've been dissecting a little more, learning how they communicate, using timestamps, using gematria, and actually, tearing apart the videos and the timestamps on the videos and the deltas and the 2-year deltas, 3-year deltas, 1-year deltas, all of this. We have a lot more tools in the toolbox now.
Right. Would you say, where did you go from here? Did you go down the timestamp?
Yeah, I went right to the 8:38 timestamp, which is it's the 7:38 Central, so 8:38 Eastern.
Now, by the way, mine still says 7:38. I still have no idea why. I think I looked at that, but so there's a lot of justice. By the way, guys, here is the justice. These are all. Let me show you here. Yeah, I've got you with me. These are all having to do with justice. It may be one of the most used words in the entire 17 arsenal of 5,000 drops. Okay? And second, maybe only to the. Okay, so that should tell us something.
Yeah, it's highly used.
Okay, so the number I'm looking up is 838.
Yes.
838, and here we go. Boom. Okay. Boom.
That's it.
I love it.
So I guess that's it.
Yeah. Okay. Good night, folks. I love it when it didn't take us long to get to a boom. I love it when 17 is just very succinct. And, that boom is, a lot of people talking about a bomb in Nashville. A lot of people talking about justice and when are we going to see the booms. And basically, that's where Dan is bringing us right here to this particular boom, and with his last tweet, and so often that means something behind the scenes is happening that we don't even realize. And folks, you don't know where the sun is right now, but I guarantee you will at a certain hour in the morning when you look up and you can see it over the horizon, and know, but it's coming. And as sure as the sun is coming over the horizon, I am certain that we are going to see justice. And if we don't see it at the hands of Donald John Trump, which I believe we absolutely are, we know too much, and we're going to take care of business ourselves as a population, because people know that America is the last stand. And Donald Trump is quite aware that he can make history and go down in history as one of the greatest men ever to live on this planet. And that's what he has before him. And all we have to do is get over this little speed bump of dark forces getting in the way and trying to steal this election and trying to do so much more, distract us with certain things. Where did you go from here, Todd? Did you?
Well, if you look at the, do you see the ID number of 000000?
Yes.
Okay, that's unusual in itself, but
Yes.
I just went to the blue 456 number,
Yeah.
and that's a significant number.
Went to 465, but no mistakes. We'll probably have to check that out. Yeah, that's Washington crossing the Delaware in the Revolutionary War. This painting.
Right. So that may be where we're at as far as the timeline on the map, is what I'm thinking. I don't know, if that is what he's saying, but everything's done for a reason, and maybe this is the time that he's, expressing where we are. We're in this battle. We're in this war.
Yeah.
I think it's easy to figure out with everything that's been going on. It's a pretty simple decode to think that we're in the middle of it right now. But I think that's mainly a kind of where we are in getting our country back. We're crossing the Delaware, ready to do some business. And that is a very significant picture, shown quite a few times recently, along with a lot of other information that led us.
We've definitely been here before.
Right.
Multiple times.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then I just did the simple mirror of that, the 654 mirror, and that might tell you a little bit about where we're going.
This was. Let me go to 654. And this is the Capitol, on top of the Capitol Dome. Happy Freedom Day tomorrow, 2/1/18. I'm guessing that the Freedom Statue and Freedom Day have to do with the Q stringers for freedom. News unlocks map. And E pluribus unum is up there. Happy Freedom Day tomorrow. That sounds pretty damn good.
Right. When you look at all things together, you see boom, you see Washington crossing the Delaware, and then you see Happy Freedom Day. It seems to me like we're close to some kind of reveal. Believe it may go back to FISA, which was one of the biggest things that they brought up over the last week. Was the new AG exposing, with his ties, along with his assistant AG or deputy AG, what where it goes from here. Obviously, they've shown us what's coming. It's just the timing of things. Now, from here, this goes to any mirrored numbers that show up, as you see on 654. You see the 717 in blue.
Yep.
There's no mirrors in the timestamps
Right here.
above.
Right.
And there's the 22 that pops up just all the time.
Yep.
That and 55 and 34 just pop up all the time.
So you went to 717?
I went to 717, yes. Go to the immediate mirrored numbers.
Right. February 10th, 2018, public FBI, DOJ, Obama White House, SD, private, clowns, 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 expand your thinking. SD, State Department. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
So basically tell us what 17 is saying here. Because, yeah.
If you've if you paid attention to a lot of the other posts recently, also they've been talking about just how infiltrated, even given the numbers in each department. The FBI was like 1, 2, and then up to 49. The DOJ was 1, 2 to like 36. And those are mentions of people that they're either taking out, moving out of their departments, because the deep state isn't an elected. They can be in there for 30 years in their positions.
Yes.
So as they've always said, the president comes and goes every 4 years, or 8, but the unelected deep state stays in place, and that's where the problems lie. So they're pointing that out.
Which is why the the presidents, the CIA can take out a president, as per John F. Kennedy. The people that are unelected are the ones that really control the presidency, because they're the ones that are entrenched. They're the ones that are in the system for longer. And the president is a come and go, and all they got to do is embarrass the president with information they already have on him, with the exception of Trump, which they've tried to do, but they don't have dirt on Trump. But at any point, they can release something about. They could have released something about Barack Obama. At any point, they could have released something about Bush if they didn't play along. Clintons. They got them dead to rights, folks. And then every once in a while, something will get through that they don't want to get through, like the Monica Lewinsky scandal, which got him impeached by the House. But that was like, I was pissed at that, because I was like, really? The guy's murdered how many people, and they're catching him on jaywalking. So it's the people that are here for good that are really, they're the ones with the power. And the clowns, as we know, clowns in America is CIA. Right. And the great thing about this, guys, and this is something that that I talk about a lot, Todd talks about a lot, expand your thinking. Like, really, like, how do we get stronger? Well, we do things that we are not used to doing, or we do something that we haven't done before to get stronger. It might be a same exercise, but we do it more times, right? So that expands our muscles, right, physically. Expand your thinking. Think about things a little bit differently. Like, find links, find articles, find the source, and then expand your thinking about how you think about those things. And if for no other reason, what a great exercise in actually thinking for ourselves versus regurgitating what is being spoon-fed to us. Okay? That's why.
That's it. That's the point I made last night that I thought was significant. That with an aware, awake public like we are now, it's impossible to just tell us the facts on the Nashville case and say, oh yeah, it was just a guy with an RV and a bomb, and he just was some nut that blew it up. Well, I don't know about you, but I've seen about 20 different things that tell a different story and why.
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So we're not going to be fooled again. And
right.
I heard a really good video today with Juan Savin, who was talking about the reason why this is taking so long.
Yeah.
And it almost justified it to me also, was that if this isn't a painful thing and we don't learn from our mistakes in the past and hurt from those mistakes and pass down our information to our children and our grandchildren, this would be allowed to happen again.
Yes.
So this
Yeah.
is a purposely painful
See,
event right now.
that kills me, Todd, because we're looking at, John F. Kennedy over my shoulder here, and the creation of the conspiracy theorist term in 1968 regarding the 1965 release, 1964 release of the Warren Commission report on the assassination of Kennedy. And a lot of people knew, even with just very, very limited information, a lot of people knew that the narrative that they were telling us was not true. And they were challenging it. And so the CIA came up, again, clowns, came up with conspiracy theorists. And yet today, to this day, our friends, our family are parroting that exact term regarding Nashville, 9/11,
Oklahoma City,
yeah, all of it.
any school shooting.
Absolutely. And so anybody that challenges the narrative, that actually thinks for themselves rather than allows them to be spoon-fed, is absolutely, they're perpetuating exactly what happened here. And to this day, mainstream media hasn't even addressed the assassination of John F. Kennedy properly. Okay, and they still talk about Dealey Plaza and the lone gunman and the magic bullet that jumped from person to person to person and blew out the back of his head, even though it came from the behind, and anything, because if they can't pin it on one person, they can't tie it up in a neat little bow.
Right.
And if they find out that it's 2 or 3 people, then that opens up a whole can of worms. Then it actually is a conspiracy to take out a sitting president. And in that regard, then it's like, well, who else is involved? Right? So it opens up a whole can of worms. If we if we know that the bombing was a DEW, then it's like, okay, time out. Who's got access to DEWs? Right? Well,
right.
But if it's an RV, Todd, who's got access to RVs? Anybody. It could be anybody. So this whole loan is an entire setup to control the way we think. And that's what people are trying to do, is control the way you think. And that, my friends, is one of the most tragic things of all, is when you're allowing yourself to be spoon-fed. That's tragic.
Yeah, and he made another good point. He talked about his father and grandfather, and he was talking about other people that lived through the Depression. Now, if you know people or knew people, if your grandparents had lived through it, or your great-grandparents or whoever, if you've ever noticed how they react, they were always the ones that would scoop the last little bit out of the tuna can. Mm-hmm. They would never waste anything. They would always baggie up any leftover food and put it in, you always had leftovers in the refrigerator. It didn't matter how little, because it's burned into their minds how everything can be taken away one day and you won't have that to eat. So they don't want to be wasteful, and that's what kind of the idea that Juan got across today on the video that I saw, was that we want this etched in our minds, and we want it burnt in almost genetically to our children and our grandchildren, mm-hmm. so that this event is not allowed to happen again, so that this slow insurgency, this basically destroying our country from within,
Yeah.
should never be allowed to happen again. And if you've noticed, that is one of the main things that Trump says about everything. He says this should never be allowed to happen again.
This should never happen to another sitting president again. This should never happen again. And even
over and over.
Even if this is, and especially when it comes to this election, which is unbelievable, what we've allowed these folks to get through. Now, while we're on the subject of Scavino, did you have anywhere else you wanted to go with that particular tweet?
Oh yeah.
Oh wow. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
So let me get back
definitely.
to that. Let me get back to that for us here. Let me see, because he had some fun ones yesterday and today.
Well, and we
okay.
were on 17. We were on 717,
Yes.
which is a really good number.
Yeah.
And that had just a number that stuck out like a sore thumb
Exactly.
in the timestamp.
So let's go to 17.
Well, I was talking about the timestamp itself, but
Oh, the timestamp on 717.
yeah, I thought the number was significant, being a mirrored number with 17.
Oh yeah.
You know, that-
Oh wow.
So-
Okay. Now hold on. Hold the phone, brother. Okay. You didn't warn me. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. So let's go. What do you say we go to? Now we're coming off a boom. We're coming off the FBI, DOJ, Obama White House, State Department, clowns, expand your thinking. Okay, this is all the deep state. And then on the timestamp, we got 6336. 63336.
Yes.
The 333 is a number that we just saw where? In the Nashville bombing.
Right, the 33.
The 33, and there was also the address of the AT&T building, I believe, is 333. Snedheads, will you drop that information? I know a few of you have sent that to us. And we're back to for God and country, freedom, underscore, many spaces, and then bracket, and then underscore Y. For God and country, freedom. And I forgot, by the way, that we were just at that freedom on the previous post.
Right.
Right here on 654, Happy Freedom Day. Okay,
Right.
And now we're back to this 333 for God and country, freedom. Now you had you had a theory on the knowingly.
Yes, knowing fits right in the spaces available. So to make it knowingly, and this was from a post last week that I decoded, or probably within the last 2 weeks. And after I decoded it and fit it in, the very next day Trump tweeted out and used knowingly again.
Okay.
So that seemed like a confirmation to me.
Yep.
So see how you can, now we're equipped. In December 7, on December 11th, 2017, we would have never been equipped to put knowingly in that slot.
Exactly.
So we're putting the puzzle together, and as you put the pieces in, just like doing a puzzle, the picture becomes more clear.
Yeah. Yep.
It's not just the random pieces of just sitting around. Once you get it partially done, you start saying, oh, wow, yeah, this piece fits here.
Mm-hmm.
And they're doing the exact same things in the posts.
Right. So So the freedom is a connection for God and country, the knowingly connection, the this is all coming down the same path. Did you drop a 3 and go down a little bit lower?
Yes.
On this one? Okay,
33.
so we go down to 33. And I'm hopeful my time spent here was not wasted. Note few, if any, shills inside this thread. Reason for that: it's being monitored, recorded, and analyzed, and don't want the clutter. Take good care. God bless. It's important to record things, folks, and everything that is placed on the internet is recorded. And especially if you're looking for it and grabbing it. So this is, they're monitoring exactly all the comps. And by the way, if we're looking at game theory and we go up to 34, we were there last night. With over the course of the next several days, you will undoubtedly realize we're taking back our great country, land of the free, which we've just seen freedom, from the evil tyrants that wish to do us harm and destroy the last remaining refuge of shining light. And so that's significant. Where did you go from 33, Todd? Did you?
Well, I wasn't done decoding 333 yet.
Okay.
But I wanted to also clarify. I also wanted to clarify for you guys that are watching that there was a 33, a naked 33 in the number 74533.
Mm-hmm.
So
right
not
here.
only did it make sense to do to drop the 3 like we normally do and continue,
right?
It was confirmed in the blue.
Right here.
The blue
exactly.
numbers.
Exactly. Good catch.
So from there, what I did is I went back to the original timestamp of 23103, and I dropped the 0 and went to 313, a mirrored number.
Right here, drop into 0. We go to 313 here, folks. 313. And we drop down to December 9th, 2017. What was the USS code name for Hussein, which was Renegade, R, define? They knew all along. Expand your thinking. Another link, Todd, to expand your thinking.
That's the key. See, they've told us now twice in the last few posts to expand your thinking, so that links it.
Yes. And they were talking about, Q was also mentioned in the Obama White House and State Department, clowns, and here they're bringing them up again, and also renegade, a person who deserts and betrays an organization, country, or set of principles. They always knew. Remember, folks, they have to put it in our face. They have to predictive program us. Who ever heard his renegade Secret Service name? Well, I did, but actually, I was not a fan of Barack Obama, folks. I know this may come as a shock to you, but
no, you were more of a Bernie Sanders fan.
I knew you were going to pull that up.
Having voted for him and all.
He's just he's got some great ideas. He's just misunderstood in the land of capitalism. And so when you understand that a person who deserts and betrays an organization, oh, by the way, for the record, folks, because some people are like, wait a minute, he voted for Bernie?
You better clear this up.
I need to clear this up. Todd's busting my chops because I went and I registered as a Democrat so that I could vote for Bernie in the primary against the devil woman, okay? Because I didn't want her anywhere near the White House or even the possibility of being in the White House, because I know her and her husband inside and out, all the way back to the days of Mena, Arkansas, when they were running for the presidency. And I saw a video on VHS, by the way, at the time, called Clinton Chronicles. And if anybody hasn't seen that, please go check out Clinton Chronicles, although that's kind of like old school. That's kind of like 101 for you newbies. It's a great watch just to kind of see the level of corruption that existed in people that you wouldn't even think, because they got elected to president, that they'd have more credibility than what was given to them by this, the gentleman that put this together, who, and the death toll going back to when he was smuggling arms and cocaine and humans through Mena, Arkansas airport, and from South America, Central America, and Mexico, for George Herbert Walker Bush when he was the head of the CIA, and then ultimately the president and vice president. So so this is a great tie-in here, Todd. Great connection on the 313.
There's and you can see how these keep going. This is just
60336 here too, above Renegade.
There's all kinds of information on this now.
Yeah.
And you have to basically search down every one of these in order to paint the whole picture.
Mm-hmm.
You see a 33. In fact, I don't think we're done with the one that led us to 313, which was on 717. There's a 66 that brackets the 333. 66 pops up quite a bit. I'm seeing it, and you'll see this when you're doing it.
Yep.
That they want to make sure
right mm-hmm.
they want to make sure that you catch this.
Well, Todd, we see 63336, so we got 66 on the outside of that, and then we have down below in the blue, we've got 6006, so if we drop the zeros in that, there's two 66s in this.
Yep. They double confirm it.
Yeah. So double confirmation means go there, and this is from November 2nd, 2017. Let's be clear. You're telling us POTUS is currently under attack by our own intelligence agencies? Duh. Let's be real clear. By the way, when 17 says let's be real clear, 17 is about to drop a bomb in our lap. When the Democrats or politicians, the rhino politicians, say let's be real clear, they're about to dump a pile of bullshit in your lap. Okay? Let me be very clear here. Okay? Let's be real clear. Any of these words are what's known as neurolinguistic programming catchphrases that connect you to what I'm about to say is going to clarify the situation. Meanwhile, what they actually come out with is not anything of substance, but it's actually propaganda. But because they've set you up to be, let me be clear, they're presenting themselves as an authority figure in a way that gets your attention and gets your buy-in. Okay? So I want to make that clarification, because anytime you hear somebody say, well, to be honest with you, well, we know, okay, what have you been doing? Lying to me before this, and now you're going to be honest with me, right? Honestly, or, really clear, or let's be clear, let's be perfectly clear. Just know after those words, you got a pile of bullshit that's going to be dropped in your lap.
Just like butt.
Just like butt.
It's when you say, when you start a sentence and you say, I really care for you and you're a really good person, but
exactly.
Then the truth starts behind the butt. Yeah. Because the rest of it was just buttering you up so they could give you the truth.
Exactly. And so if Todd, I'm really sorry, really sorry for the echo earlier in the show. I'm sure it was annoying. I know it was annoying to Cindy. She's dealing with this incredibly frustrating brain situation with her concussion. So I'm really sorry, but I had some technical difficulties, right? It's not like I'm not really apologizing. I'm making an excuse for it, right? So
Right.
the difference there is I said, hey, sorry for the problems. I had some technical difficulties. I'm just letting you know that I'm having some technical difficulties, but the apology is still there because I didn't put a but in there, right? So any apology with a but in it is, it's a shitty apology, okay?
Yes. Yes.
Literally and figuratively. So, so great point on the whole but thing. So for me, it's like, hey, Todd, sorry for the difficulties, and I had some technical difficulties, which was the reason why, or whatever. It's like, don't put the but in there.
Right.
The CIA so let's be real clear. Okay, so this is from 17. The CIA just attacked the command-in-chief and chief. Okay, very specifically, 17 isn't saying commander and chief, but the command and chief, right? So I believe not just POTUS, but his whole infrastructure, which was immediately detected by NSA military intelligence and alerted to POTUS. Re-review all my crumbs, including today, yesterday, weekend. What does this mean? What actions are immediately occurring? If this leaks, or the immediate action ongoing at Langley, you'll have your verification ahead of schedule. So, tell me your thoughts on this in the connection.
Well, as it goes through the 17 drops, there have been widespread attacks on command and chief, both all through the mainstream media all the time, which is known clown organization, but also within the deep state itself, the people that are, like we were saying, that are non-elected officials that stay in their State Department and their DOJ positions. That goes across the board. If you look at just take into account what the FBI knows about the Clinton situation, and what the FBI knows about the emails, and what the FBI knows about let's just say Hunter Biden.
Yep.
They've had all the information on them for a long, long time, and that's been held back just because they're bureaucrats and they can do it.
Yeah.
No matter what the president orders, you can see that even down to the bookkeepers and the secretaries, they can hold things up too. They can say, the boss can say, hey, slow this down, we don't want this coming out. Or redact the hell out of it so you can't even tell what it is.
Yeah.
All of these can be taken as an attack because they're not giving POTUS what he needs.
Yeah.
It's their shitty way of not physically attacking him, but we know that's happened also. Through attempts on his life.
Yep.
So there's direct and indirect attacks, and sometimes the indirect attacks are worse because you can see when it comes to FISA, when it comes to impeachment, when it comes to Ukraine, when it comes to Biden corruption, when it comes to Obama corruption, when it comes to HRC corruption.
Yep.
All this stuff that we know, we feel like we could go into a courtroom right now and prosecute all of them.
Yes.
Yet POTUS has to have everything done by the book. Otherwise, he's falling into the trap of being the deep state himself. So that's why a lot of foot dragging has been going on, and that's why this information isn't hitting home like it should, and that's why these elections aren't immediately just taken up by the Supreme Court so they can see the evidence. That's foot dragging, and that's basically a subtle attack, trying to buy time to allow the public to be told over and over and over that there's a new president-elect, there's nothing you can do about it. That's an attack on POTUS. That's basically a coup. Yes. And if you look back all the way from the day he set foot in office and even before, it's been one big coup attempt. That's all it is. They could not have him in this position. It just was not planned for, and when he was there, they had to attack him from all sides.
Yes.
So, that's what we're dealing with. That's what he's been dealing with. That's what his family's been dealing with. I mean, we get a bad text message or a bad Facebook post, and we're like, oh, man, just think, having every mainstream media outlet lie and say that you're a racist and a sexist and a scumbag and a cheater and a Russian agent and all the slings and arrows that guy has taken for this country. Mm-hmm. Oh, my God. Talk about tough.
Yep.
He's an animal. I love that guy.
He just keeps, the arrows just don't hit him. They do not hit him. And
and he's a human being. I mean, it's got to have an effect somewhat. He doesn't, nobody wants to be hated by the whole world, for something that you're not. And it's what's unfathomable is how many people believe it, because the little television told them on their programming. People just, if you can detach away from all the electronics and everything that's convenient for us for a bit and just think, President Trump could have had a great life and not done this.
Absolutely.
And for anybody having any question about his character is beyond me at this point. When you walk into the presidency as a billionaire and you don't need the money and you're not controlled, then what good would it have been for him to be a Russian agent? Right. Does Russia even have money? I mean, I thought they were pretty much destroyed in the Cold War.
Yes.
Now, China, you can see why everybody's dipping their beaks in China, because China had all our manufacturing. So there was money to be had there. And, guys like Bloomberg and all the billionaires made off of it. Made sense. But, I think that an audit system ought to be put in on all of our government officials and their families on what they come in to office with, what their investments were, and when they leave office, where'd that money come from? If you always follow the money, the corruption's going to be limited anyway. There might be little corruption things like letting a buddy have a contract to build an office building or something. That may always exist. But, when you're talking
at least
about
we'll know about it. At least we know about it.
Right. And taking over a country is a different story.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So the, basically, what you're talking about here is accountability. And, we've gotten so far away from accountability with our servants that have actually become our rulers, that it's just really, really disturbing. But we've allowed it.
Oh, absolutely, Dave. I mean, that's another part of the lesson. I think this bill that passed, the House the other day that went to Trump on the aid package for, every other country in the world, and then they were going to give us a measly $600 when other countries are giving thousands a month to their people.
Yeah.
What other country is giving away all of their money to other countries when they're in desperate need?
Yeah. By the way, I love seeing those memes going around today of people saying, hey, could you guys please tell me what country taxes its citizens so it can give money to the United States of America?
Right.
It's like, yeah, great point. I love that. I love that point. And, you know, so many were just bouncing that around today because people were like, think about it. Think about this. We didn't even have a concept of that. Like most people, I know I did, and a lot of people
Yeah.
do, but I'm talking about the general population didn't even have a concept of, oh my God, we're giving tens of millions, hundreds of millions, billions of dollars to other countries. Why? We're in debt. Our country needs, you know, the population of this country needs money, needs help, needs assistance. Look at all these restaurant owners. God love them. Folks, if you're a restaurant owner or if you know a restaurant owner, can I just give you a big hug? And can you pass that on? Because God love them. First of all, being a restaurant owner is a nightmare. I've owned businesses. I've been successful in business, and I've experienced failure in business. You know, and it's painful. And like in regular business, like 80% of all businesses fail in the first, I think it's 4 years, or is it 2 years? 2 years. I knew this once. And then 90%, like after 8 years, and then restaurants, that number is even higher, the failure rate.
Yeah,
And
it's
then you've
ridiculous.
got staffing problems, and you've got you know calling in sick, and you got to cover, and you've got people with their finger in the till, and in cash situation. And then you've got regulations that the state makes you jump through so many damn hoops. It's ridiculous, right?
I
And
have
then,
firsthand knowledge on the subject. I opened a bar restaurant, and I actually remodeled the whole property for the 6 months previous, and then built it up. And as soon as I built it up, my silent partner who owned the building said, "Oh, I think I can handle it from here." Got rid of me.
man,
It's just, you don't know. I was working over 100 hours a week in that business.
man,
100.
that's
And that's
brutal.
with having 2 young kids and trying to take care of my financial situation at home. And it's almost unbelievable how hard it is. And when I was in it, it's definitely a labor of love, because I mean, you have to love people and love to be there to do it. And I totally
Right.
respect anybody in the restaurant business.
So how about, Todd, instead of giving the 10 million to the gender studies in Pakistan, which I know is very important, by the way, I don't mean to diminish helping people figure out that there are 2 genders on this planet of human beings, and actually all species, and so I know that a lot of people need to know this, but honestly, I think we need to give that 10 million to California politicians and school systems, because they're teaching our children that there's I think 11 or 12 genders in kindergarten. So maybe we need to
Dave,
help our own people learn about genders here in the United States. What were you going to say? Did I lose you, brother? I think we lost Todd. He'll call back in. What I wanted to show you guys, by the way, is on 33, on the 333 that we were just at, right? I'll take you there here in a second on this drop. Let me see. And excuse me. So we went there. It's not backing up the way it normally is. There he is. Was it something I said?
Hey, brother, I lost you.
Just dropping too much truth for you, man? Huh? Huh?
I think so. Yeah, but what I was saying, Dave, is the money does find its way back to our politicians. It's just laundered and brought back in the
No,
back door.
Todd. I think that's a conspiracy theory.
Oh, like Ukraine. Why do you think they were upset about Trump poking around the piggy bank?
Yeah, exactly. um, they yeah, folks. This is and so here's what's great about this, Todd. Is look at how many of you were just so frustrated and blown away that that stimulus bill was passed through the House and the Senate, both Republicans and Democrats, right? And how mad were you when it went to POTUS's desk and they were giving us $600 and all this money was going to these foreign countries and the Kennedy? Look at the awareness that that brought. And then he signed it. Everybody got pissed off at Trump for signing it, but he redlined it and sent it back. Then it came through the House, passed the House. By the way, what happened in the Senate today? I know McConnell tried to tank it because, of course, his wife is Taiwanese born and her father was a shipping magnate, is a shipping magnate, and got two major loans from the Bank of China, which is CCP owned. So we know that he's compromised with his wife alone. But what ended up happening there in the Senate today?
I think Mitch did what everybody thought he would do. He's blocking it, and what I'm hearing rumblings in the background is that it didn't take care of Section 230.
Right.
So if they don't repeal Section 230, now there's another sticking point on a bill that's only supposed to be there to help Americans through this crisis.
Yep. So it's still sitting there.
Is what I understand, Dave. Yes.
Yeah. Folks, just a little heads up. We're well over 2,700 beautiful human beings over 6 platforms right now. So I wanted to welcome everybody. I'm David Snedeker. This is the IndoctriNATION. We are live broadcasting from California, Southern California, and we have Todd Gedeminski and Cindy Johnson on the phone from Springfield, Illinois, offering some great insight so far into the Scavino post. Todd, I did want to go to you had taken us to the 333 post because we were sent there. And I want to get back to that because let me show you guys. Let me go to 333. And what we had done was we had been to 333 from a few different links. But what was very interesting here is that not only are we at 333, and we had come from a boom, freedom tomorrow, and now we're for God and country, freedom, all right, and some other things we think knowing might fit in there. But if you look at the 333, if you go across here, and you see there's 2 more 3s, there's 313, we went down that path. But there's also another 33 here. Now, we just came off the first one coming out of Scavino, coming out of this tweet here, when and the timestamp was 8:38. So we had initially gone to 8:38, and that was the boom. Now, what's important to understand here, okay, is that coming off that boom, and then from the boom, we went to 456 here, and then from 456 we went to the freedom and the 33 numbers. But I want to show you. Let me pull this up here. Let's see. want to get you here. And we're on Restream there. Now let me take you to what we went to the other day, and this was just yesterday. This is the AT&T building in downtown Nashville. They call it the Batman building, but it also looks like an owl, right? And we've talked about the sacrifice to Moloch, the owl god. We also have linked you to the Congress owl, and in the congressional, it doesn't always show us there. Here it is, and here this is our Congress, who is they're voting on our stimulus package right now. And everything they vote on is from the House and the Senate here in the Capitol, and then they vote on these various bills. But this was laid out to be an owl, and they are in the heart of the owl. They are in the heart of Moloch, who is the god that they sacrifice to. So everything that was brought up here. Every war that they voted on. Of course, we can't go to war without congressional approval unless you're Barack Obama. But every soldier that died from that war, every civilian that was murdered, every soldier on the other end of the war that died, all are sacrifices to this cabal entity, Moloch. All right. So when you see the 333 and we go and we see a building like this one here, the AT&T. Now this was not the AT&T building that was bombed, but it's very close by. And the address of this is 333 Commerce Street. Okay. Of the Owl building, and we were just led there with the drops from Dan Scavino's tweet, okay. And then the other thing is, and I'll bring this up here in a second, is let me see this.
And I think, Dave, it's also important to note that and tell everybody the significance of the power of numbers in the cult that we're dealing with.
Go ahead while I find this other one.
Doubled up and tripled up numbers double and triple the power behind them. Mm-hmm. So when you see a number like 333 or 777, or everybody knows about 666, those are power numbers based on their beliefs that everything is numerological, and most of their symbols have to do with numerology.
Yeah. And I'm also looking for that 33 picture, Todd, that we had yesterday.
Oh, with the building?
Yeah, the two buildings of the picture after the bombing. Do you have a handle on that, or did that come in through Cindy?
Let me see if I can find it here.
You know what, dude? Hold on. I'll find it. Sneds, will you guys send it to me? If somebody's got that, just send it in Messenger right now. I just want to show you that because that's significant, especially when we're dealing with this numerology, for the Illuminati.
And 33 goes all the way back to JFK's assassination.
Yes. And we're making that connection. Tell us about that link.
Well, that was on the 33rd parallel in longitude and latitude lines, and it was also in a very highly developed cult system of buildings, and if you looked at the overhead, you'd see what I mean, and the street numbers, and it's all based on this numerology and the power involved in double and triple numbers and what they feel they get from it.
And of course, the 33 is the level of the Masonic order, the Scottish Free Rite Masons, That is the ultimate level. Everybody below that really doesn't know much, but 33 and above understands the enslavement of humanity. And so that's very significant. Sneadheads, if you know what...
More recently, you could even go back to George Floyd and, the 33rd Street and 13th, and all the numbers matter, all the symbology's there, and it connects to most recently to Nashville.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's I'm seeing if anybody's dropped this for us here, but we'll come back to it. Nate probably did. No, Nate's got something else here. But it's on a couple threads here. Let me see. And Nate does have some footage that we'll have to check out at another time. Let's see what you guys are bringing me here.
Well, while you're looking for that, Dave, on that, as we go through these posts on 636, there's a significant post involved in that timestamp that we'll have to go to.
Let's do that now while we wait for that, because that's just that'll take us down a good road. So you want me to go to 636?
636, yes. You see the timestamp of 4:01:40.
Yes. Yeah.
If you delete the zeros, go to post 414. It's a mirrored number.
Now, guys, we were at 636 because it was a mirrored number of the sixes and the threes, and there was a 636. So now we're going to 414, which is mirrored. Always go mirrored. Wow. December 21st, 2017. Hope you enjoyed the Christmas decor. POTUS will verify directly to provide crumb authorization for dissemination. We are crushing these sick people. God bless Patriot. Wow. And Todd, you were just there this weekend.
Yes.
I think we were there last week when we were doing...
I've been there. I've been led down this path multiple times. I said before, privately, I think once I get to a certain post, I already know where it's leading. So, but this post was directly involved in the tweet that President Trump, that Dan Scavino put out of the White House with the Christmas tree to the right, prominently displayed.
Yeah.
And it almost immediately in the first 2 or 3 drops got there. And so I thought that was very significant.
Hey, do you have Trista did a great breakdown on that? Do you have that handy, or Christy, do you have that you can send me in Messenger, because I'm having trouble with my email right now?
And we're a phone down here,
guys.
so that kind of limits our capabilities a little bit.
Yeah. Let me see. Let me pull this up. Sorry, guys. I didn't show the screen on this last one, but this is the 414. Hope you enjoyed the Christmas decor. POTUS will verify directly to provide crumb authorization for dissemination. We are crushing these sick people. God bless Patriot. Also, Trista, if you can send it to me if you get this message too, I'll pull it up. So, because it was a great decode, fantastic decode of the Christmas tree that you were looking at, and so well, I'll get that here shortly. Yeah, here we go. Because it was in email format.
And there's still more in that Christmas tree. If when you get that picture up, I'll be able to point out some things.
Okay, here it is. Okay, I'll pull the picture up. Thank you, Christy. And I think We're just gonna okay, and let me pull up the Scavino tweet of that. By the way, yeah, I'm gonna be able to pull up Scavino. Let me find that for you guys. By the way, another eagle, very interesting eagle, very interesting look, very powerful. Where is, hold on, I'm sorry, I'm looking up Scavino's, I've got the other ones up. Okay, here we go. The Dolphins, pretty interesting. 27 seconds of Dolphins, Todd. We're going to have to get into that here in a second. The 17 seconds of the dog. And by the way, freedom is prominent in that story. Okay. Wow, the Northern Lights, the Aurora Borealis Observatory. And these dudes playing and locking horns here. That's pretty cool. Merry Christmas, make America great again. And where is the tree? It's coming up here. There it is. Okay, so here's the tree, folks. Okay. Just a beautiful shot. This was right. Let's see, what was the timing on this? This was December 20th. Okay. And it was at 9:38 p.m. I think, Todd, that was 10:38, right?
Yeah, if you just add an hour.
Right. So let's just go to 10:38, see what's there. But I'm gonna come back to it here in a second. Okay.
Dave,
go ahead.
Before you leave this, you might want to go to the one more connection. Made from the 414 or where were we? 414? Yes.
Yeah, 414.
The 414 connects to 242. Another mirrored timestamp.
Another mirrored timestamp right here. 242, guys, right here. Okay. Make sure you're in the same place. Yep, 242. Okay.
It's easy to get sidetracked, but this isn't done till this.
This is a nice one. We've been here before. Be here tomorrow. The story unfolds. That's twice, Todd, that we've said tomorrow. Freedom Day tomorrow. Okay. And also be here tomorrow. The story unfolds.
Right.
Interesting. And again, we're at 33.
Right. Yep.
We got another 33. Fantastic. Anywhere you want to go from there?
I was looking at the significance of the with the 33 isolated.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to look at 129 because we've been on the lower levels. We're not going up.
Right.
Looks like we're going down. So I was going to drop the 0 and go to 129.
Let's give it a shot here. 129.
129 and possibly 1209. Just taking it as it is.
Okay. Closing act with CIA and kill brackets. Dismantled. So basically saying CIA is dismantled. Impossible to clean. They couldn't clean it because it was too dirty. Operations, no such agency. NSA. 17. So we just saw all this. Todd, this is very relevant because they were just talking about clowns. We know that the Defense Department is withdrawing military support for the CIA operations overseas. I believe that happens January 4th. Do you have a date on that, Todd? Sneds, do you have a
defunding of the CIA?
Not the defunding of the CIA, but the defunding of the military support of the CIA.
Yeah, that's the 4th. January 4th.
January 4th. Okay, so that's an important day, folks, because that's when all the CIA brothers and sisters have to come home. And what are they coming home to? All over the world, They've got it. Many of them are probably already out there because they know that they don't have military support to back them. And so, and especially with as much leaks that we've had over the years, especially from the Clinton emails and the Clinton connections through her Gmail, we lost a lot of agents in China specifically because the Chinese Communist Party were alerted to who they were. And I believe we lost 12 agents in China alone from her leaks. 12 human beings that were their lives were ended because of.
And Biden actually outed, hundreds of people that were embedded.
Yep, including SEAL Team 6.
And that was released through the Hunter Biden's emails with the tie with the CCP. If you've ever seen that guy, that group, I believe it's Chinese. I don't know how they're operating, but the one with the subtitles, those guys that talk about the whistleblowers.
Yeah.
He's the one that said that it led directly to basically over 200 assets being compromised.
gnews.org, I believe it is. gnews.org, folks, is where you can get a lot of information from Lude discussions. Health condition of CCP leaders is a national secret. You can get a lot of great information, update on CCP virus pandemic. And this is CCP is screwed over by its own surveillance systems. A lot of great information about China here on gnews.org. This is Miles Guo, who has exposed quite a bit about what's happening in China. We're very grateful to Miles and the work that he's done. Very, very dangerous to expose the Chinese Communist Party, especially if you're Chinese, as he is. And he has been working with, certainly with the with Giuliani and Powell, and not just exposing the election fraud, but exposing the Biden connection, the Biden fraud with the CCP. So great.
Oh, and Dave,
you wanted to go.
I did go to 1209 is significant, not dropping the zero.
Not dropping the zero, 1209.
The other reason when you're doing this is numbers that add up to 17 or 21. 21 is a significant number.
Right. And 12 and 9 obviously is 21. It's 3 sevens.
Yes.
And 1209, April 20th, 2018. Over the target, expand further. Wendy, Hussein, Mac, Adam Schiff. We've been down this. This is this is a plane crash where they murdered this woman. Open source. The door will be opened later. The choice to know will be yours. End. So this involves Hollywood. It involves Allison Mack, who was a Smallville actress who was in NXIVM, and Adam Schiff, and Hussein, and a little girl that Hussein was supposedly, doing horrible things to, and eventually murdered. And it's basically 17 is saying over the target, but expand further. And this is Mariah Sunshine Coogan.
If you've noticed, Dave, on post 717,
yes,
it said expand your thinking.
Yes, expand
and then
further.
This ties it in by saying expand further.
Yes. Yep.
So it's implied we've already been there.
Good stuff, buddy.
Yep.
Beautiful.
It all ties together. And then if you look at this, if you look at these blue numbers are crazy. 11, 22, 99.
Yeah. Wow.
But you can see how this continues. They give us, by one starting point on the map, they give us a lot of direction on what's to come.
Todd, we've got a mirrored number 101, but also get out the 0, and we've got 11, and then we've got 11 down here. So we ought to allow it to take us certainly to 11, given the double confirmation there. And 11, key, military intelligence versus FBI, CIA, NSA. No approval or congressional oversight. State secrets upheld under Supreme Court. Who is the commander and chief of the military? POTUS. Under what article can the president impose military takeover? Investigations for the three-letter agencies. What conditions must present itself? Why is this so very important? Who surrounds POTUS? They lost this very important power. The military. The one area of the government not corrupt and directly serves POTUS. And then I want to jump to this, Todd, and I wanted to, a few of the Sneds have dropped this to me, and it was Candace Owen broke down just some great points about what POTUS has in his arsenal, so to speak.
Oh yeah.
Right? Have you read that? Yeah.
Well, yeah, I kind of went through and made a mental note about how many ways Biden could be taken out over the weekend, and I think I came up with like 35. 35
Wow.
one of 35 things comes out. He's done.
Yeah.
And it was just unreal. All of this corruption, everything that's happened. It was, going back all the way to his first wife and daughter's tragic car accident.
Yeah.
And all the way up through his dealings with JFK Jr. And then all the way up to Ukraine and China dealings, and all the way up. It was a staggering number of torpedoes that were aimed his way, and you can see why his running mate doesn't walk away from her Senate seat so quickly. Yeah,
absolutely. The great thing about
they know. They absolutely know. This is a Hail Mary at the buzzer. This is, and they're down 3, or maybe even 4, and they're hoping to get fouled and get a 3-point shot at the buzzer to tie the game to go overtime, because it's not going to work.
No. This is it's not going to work. They were hoping that he would basically accept defeat. The
only way that Trump loses is conceding, and that's not happening.
No, not at all. Here it is. So I want to read this to you folks, and I'll pull it up here as well. But this is really fantastic, and especially if you're down about the things that are going on, and you really want to have a handle on how well we've got this. Let me read to you. Lisa S. posted this, and it's from Candace Owens. Okay. At the moment, POTUS is sitting on a stack of trump cards that he's just waiting to unleash, a royal flush. He has court cases that will go to the Supreme Court, and thanks to the Texas case, he's now aware how to file them properly under Article 3, not 2. So the SCOTUS will be forced to listen. Now, Trump has been very, very critical of SCOTUS. He's exposed SCOTUS, but they exposed him under one way, but then now they know how to file it properly, where they actually have to look at what's happening. He now has a DNI report. That was Radcliffe we talked about here, who had 45 days from the end of the election, which is really not even over yet, so the 45 days has not occurred. Barr stepped down and can now be a witness. He did his job, so he can be a witness in all the things that he actually discovered. Durham is special counsel and can prosecute in any state. He's letting civil, criminal, and federal courts fail to handle the situation properly so he can use military tribunals. He has all the data from the NSA, the Kraken computer, the Alice supercomputer, and likely many more computers unknown to us. He has the dueling electors from 7 state legislatures. He has Vice President Pence as the final arbiter of which ballots to accept. He has the Insurrection Act, the National Defense Authorization Act, the National Emergency, the 14th Amendment, the 2018 Executive Order, the 2017 Very First Executive Order, the Patriot Act, the FISA warrants, the declassification of everything, people swearing affidavits by the thousands. He has all the statistical data being analyzed along with the videos, emails, phone calls, and bank transfer statements showing the coordination of the coup d'etat. He has RICO and he has the Crimes Against Humanity videos. WikiLeaks just dropped extensive information and Assange will be pardoned. Assange can then openly discuss the murder of Seth Rich. Now that the governors and Secretary of States certified and Biden accepted, they each committed and knowingly agreed to acts of treason. We talked about that. The shoplifter has to leave the store before it's a crime. Solar Winds was literally just raided, and Dominion is closing down as well. He has the CIA servers used to change Dominion machine votes from Trump to Biden. He will soon have access to the actual machines themselves. He baited the deep state into staying in D.C. so they can be arrested. Biden hasn't accepted any transition money, and Harris has still not given up her seat on the Senate. The military has infiltrated Antifa and BLM. He has all their financial records. He knows which politicians took Chinese and Soros money, both Republican and Democrat. He positioned Christopher Miller as Secretary of Defense and Ezra Cohen Watnick as Assistant Secretary of Defense. He literally just wrote an executive order regarding the military line of succession. Many suspect Watnick to be Q. He is defunding the CIA. He just replaced Kissinger and Albright on the National Security Advisory Board with men loyal to him. The military has been flying planes far more than usual. By the way, Todd, we got to check in with Monkey Works. All over the country. The Navy just parked mega fleets on both coasts, and, might I add, is in the South China Sea with Taiwan, which is the same. The 82nd Airborne is prepared for an operation, which is the same group that General Flynn and A.G. Donahue were enlisted. And I want to be clear about something, folks. The military, when Todd and I broke down the military shot, what I said was that the military got the actual shots from Pfizer and from these other companies. But I believe that they were not given those shots, that they were actually given something very different, and that those shots were analyzed and found to have the things in them that they're going to stop them from using and warn us about. I don't know how, and of course the people that are our leaders, so to speak, they're not getting shots at all, for crying out loud. They've still got caps on the needles. They're showing us this in broad daylight. They're not even hiding it, okay? And the people that are actually taking it are involved in clinical trials or maybe demanding it. And certainly there's some side effects as well. So keep that in mind, that there are some real ones out there. And so please do not get it if you have an opportunity to do that. Do not get it. Pieces are finally falling into place. POTUS has it all. He is just laying out the pieces and building the narrative. He knows he won and they committed treason. He set a trap and they walked right in without a hesitation. He gave the deep state the chance to come clean and try to fix things. They chose treason. They will all hang as the result. Patriots in control. Nothing can stop what's coming. Fabulous breakdown there by Candace. Did she miss anything, Todd, from what you came up with?
Not right offhand. She's got it down pat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I read that also. I thought, how easy what a great explanation of all the cards he's holding.
Yep.
And why when you see him, he's always relaxed and has a smile on his face. He doesn't look stressed.
Yep.
And when he leaves his presidency, he's going to be the first president I can remember that looks younger walking out than walking in.
Mm-hmm.
After all this.
Yep.
Yeah, Cindy said med beds.
Yes. Yeah. They're coming. They're coming.
As close as we're getting, we probably should do another Nasara show, because that's pretty much one show.
Yep, I agree.
I think that's an uplifting thing, also having something to look forward to, and a lot of our new viewers may not know it very well.
Right.
And sometimes I read it again today just as a refresher, and it just, it's a great feeling to know that's coming.
Yep. Yep. If you are, we're talking about med beds. Some people are saying they need it now. It's a frequency device. It's going to be amazing. But please check out our market page on the Indoctrination and check out the Healy. Look at the video on the Healy, and you will see that you will be blown away. If you go to market here on the Indoctrination, this supports our broadcast. This is Purium, which is fantastic. I'm detoxing using the Purium products. The Healy options, this is an incredible device that deals in frequency. I'm detoxing from that as well. And this is the science behind it. And if you have time, please sit down and watch that if you're really hurting. This is a FDA certified device for pain management, but it goes well beyond there. La Vida Bella Olive Oil Company, fantastic products that Todd and Cindy and I have all had. It's a Snedhead marketplace, folks. This all supports the broadcast and fellow Snedheads. Julie Harris, wonderful soap that she makes by hand, and Saint Solutions Silver that is made by two dear friends of mine. Marcia Shotke, Soul Coach. People are tapping into her and having amazing results. Dr. Paula McDonald has a fantastic book you ought to check out. Dismay Coin if you want some Trump silver coins and Q silver coins. Fantastic stuff there. That is the extent of our commercial for the broadcast. Thank you for your donations. Thank you for all who reach out and offer support for all the work that is done here. And we are finding quite a bit. I did want to bring, there was some, that was a Nate dropped that, and it was some of the footage that we had last night. But there's about, we'll see if we want to go back there again. But did you, what else did you have, Todd, that you wanted to talk about?
Well, I think that going, when you punch in 11, you'll see that 1111 is basically the finish of our decode, pretty much.
Okay, let me finish.
You can see how far this goes. See, on post 11 you went to, you're bracketed by 1111. But you'll also notice at the top of your page when you pulled up 11, this post, the post with the WWG1WGA soldier, that always comes up when you punch in
Oh,
11.
that's right. That's right. Because it's 1111. Exactly.
It catches 11. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's significant.
Yeah.
I thought it's shareable.
I'd go even if I had to leave early and walk my ass there. Thank you for your service. God bless and stay safe. Talking about, so we all getting invited to the White House to meet Q and POTUS when this is all over. And this soldier is saying he'll walk his ass there if needed. Yeah, that's awesome. I'm glad you mentioned that. And let's go, speaking of Scavino, okay, and the Christmas tree, let's go, let me see if I can find that. Where am I going to find that? This is brutal. So frustrating that by the way, this is something that an Anon posted on the 8kun, okay, and I wanted to bring it up because I think it was significant for the purpose of what we're talking about here, and that is that it's an explanation of what happened in Nashville. This is somebody saying that this is what they think happened. The White Hats located the bomb before it was placed in its target detonation. Firefight ensued. We saw that. We showed you that last night where we heard the gunfire in the early morning hours before the bomb went off. Bad actors killed. Bomb unsafe to handle in normal means. Controlled detonation with countdown and warning to minimize harm to populace. So they did clear people out. There was that audio that we heard, that we also heard eerily backwards last night. And we also know, based on what I saw today, that it didn't come from the RV, that it came from an AT&T little tower across the street from where that video was. So
but that's not what our FBI said, Dave.
Oh yeah. I forgot to check in with them to see what they got going on. Yeah. So we got that going for us. Now let me see what. I just got to find. Oh, here it is. Okay. Now the question is, what's this going to pull up into? Because, yeah. Okay. I'm going to be able to pull this up. Okay. Let me entertain you. Okay. 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 So this is, let me do this. See, I'm trying to pull this up and in a document. Oh, here it is. Okay, I've got it. All right, let me see if I can get you guys dialed in here as well. Okay, this is great. Trista did this, pulled this together, and it's really good stuff. And Trista's provided a lot of great content on this broadcast. And let me see. Okay, and here we go. Let me just get it to you here. All right, so we see you saw the Scavino tree, right? In his tweet in front of the White House. So Trista focused on the 8-pointed star, okay, which I think is fantastic. List of symbolic stars. The octagram, an 8-pointed star polygon. Okay. Other representations of an octagonal star. In Unicode, the 8-spoked asterisk symbol is U 27 plus 2733. Now remember, guys, 17 takes us down numerical, maps, and also certainly what do I want to say, the numerology from letters as well, right? So this is very significant. 2733, the drop, leads us to February 15th, 2019, which is a Twitter account of 7 flamingos, February 15th, 2019. And recall the deep state tried to assassinate POTUS with an AF-1 missile strike to provoke war with North Korea. All right, we've been all over that before, and it's coming, and they keep taking us back to that. Todd, how often do we go back to the missile strike?
Oh, quite a bit. Probably in the last month, 3 or 4.
Right. So there's a reason why they keep taking us back there, right? And like there's a reason for everything. Now, from the 2733, there's the 838, Todd, which is the mirrored number, and we go to 838 and we get the boom, which we got today from a completely different timestamp of a different tweet from Dan Scavino. So,
isn't that crazy?
Yeah. So in the past 9 days, Scavino has sent us to this boom twice. Okay? Now, also, an 8-pointed star is also a compass rose. Excuse me. Compass rose can be seen as an octagonal star with 4 primary points and 4 secondary points. Compass rose usage encompasses to represent the cardinal directions for the 8 principal winds, right? Northeast, southwest, northeast, southeast, southwest, northwest. Each are at angles of a difference of 45 degrees. Of course, 45 is POTUS. Okay. Other representations of octagonal star, the Unicode. Okay. And excuse me. And the Unicode Consortium. Okay. Is an information technology standard, IT standard for the consistent encoding, representation, and handling of text expressed in most of the world's writing systems. The standard is maintained by the Unicode Consortium, and as of March 2020, there's a total of 143,859 characters with Unicode 13.0. These characters consist of 143,696 graphic characters and 163 format characters, covering 154 modern and historic scripts, as well as multiple symbols, sets, and emoji. The character repertoire of the Unicode standard is synchronized with ISO IEC 10646, and both are code for code identical. 10646 adds up to 6 and 6 is 12, plus 4 is 16, plus 1 is 17. Okay? The Universal Coded Character Set, UCS, International Standard, ISO IEC. Okay? Basically takes us to 17. All right? There are, and it takes us through this group, International Organization for Standardization, 128 groups, 256 planes, 256 rows, 256 cells, okay? And the Unicode standard, a plane, is a continuous group of 65,536 code points. There are 17 planes identified by the number 0 to 16, which corresponds with the possible values 0, 0 to 10 to the 16th of the first 2 positions in 6th position hexadecimal format. Most of the assigned code points in the BMP are used to encode Chinese, Japanese, and Korean. This is what that looks like. A map of basic multilingual plane. Each numbered box represents 256 code points. Each numbered box represents 256 code points. Okay? This is a gentleman, Hugh McGregor Ross, who was the pioneer in the history of British thermionic valve computer. He was involved in the standardization of ASCII and ISO 646. ASCII is a computer language, and worked closely, main designers of ISO with Peter Fenwick. He was he was an expert in the Gospel of Thomas and wrote several books about it. He was a Quaker. Okay? Since its discovery, many scholars have seen it as evidence in support of the existence of a Q source, which might have been very similar in its form as a collection of sayings of Jesus without any accounts of his deeds or his life and death, referred to as a sayings gospel. The Q source, also called Q document, Q gospel, or Q from German, meaning source, is hypothetical written collection of primary Jesus sayings, logia. Q is a part of the common material found in the Gospels of Matthew and Luke, but not in the Gospel of Mark. According to his hypothesis, this material was drawn from the early church's oral tradition. So this gets more into Matthew and Luke both used Mark and Q as sources. Some scholars have postulated that Q is actually a plurality of sources, some written and some oral. Others have attempted to determine the stages in which Q was composed. Q's existence has been questioned, omitting what should have been a highly treasured dominical document from all early church catalogs. Its lack of mention by Jerome is a conundrum of modern biblical scholarship, but copying Q might have been seen as unnecessary as it was preserved in the canonical Gospels. Hence, it was preferable to copy the Gospels of Matthew and Luke, where the sayings of Jesus from Q were rephrased to avoid misunderstandings and to fit their own situations and their understanding of what Jesus had really meant. So this is, guys, I'm going to drop this on the IndoctriNATION.com website. Let me see if I can do that tonight. So please go to the IndoctriNATION.com and I will have it there for you, most likely in the let me see, what's the what do we call that area? The hot zone. The indoctrination, the hot zone. Let me see. And you know what? I'm going to drop that. I'm going to see if I can drop that on my Facebook page. And we'll see if I can drop it here or not. But I should be able to. So I'll try to drop it right here. I'm going to show you where that is. Let me get to the capture here. And there we go. And it'll be in the hot zone right here, folks, which is some great work from Barbara and from Eric here. Voting stuff, Clinton Foundation, Ghislaine Maxwell files, Hunter Biden. By the way, Ghislaine Maxwell just denied bail, earlier. So that's pretty cool. How about that decode, buddy?
That's pretty high level stuff.
That is high level stuff.
That's very, very high level. I enjoy that. It's nice to see where it can all go when you're looking in the right place.
Hey, Dave.
Yes.
Would you please look in your Facebook Messenger from Jessica Ann Regal? She has a video that she would like to have you look at. She says it's really important regarding Hunter. Some new information apparently.
Have you
This
seen
is
it?
coming in from Christy and Barb.
Okay. Let's see. Is it coming in from you too?
No, I don't have access to your messenger.
Okay. No, I mean, did it come in from you?
No.
That's what I was asking. Let's
Sorry,
see.
I didn't understand you.
Okay, here we go. I don't have Jessica. I don't have her. So if it doesn't come from you guys, I can't do it.
Here, let me. She just sent it to me here.
Okay, thank you. And I do want to.
And one more thing, Dave, while you're looking, during that decode, you went to 2733, I
Yeah.
believe it was. Then that actually led to an 878 mirrored number. That's pretty good off of her decode. Because I think this is what's going to bring down the house.
FISA.
And
D-class.
who's going to do it? Yep.
All right, where am I at here? Sorry, I gotta find out where I was there. Let me see here. Got too much going on. Okay, my friend. So we are going. It was from the 2733 from that decode.
The
And
decode you were just doing, I just naturally do the mirrored numbers.
Right. So 838. Yep.
Yeah, that led us to 838 again. But then
Back to
there was
838.
but there's an 878 in the blue numbers, and that led to the post that I think is pretty significant.
878.
Right.
Yes, I see it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you'll
878.
notice the 66 coming up again.
Interesting. Do you trust Sessions? Boom. Interesting.
See, I think that part of the plan was, and it's been referenced in these drops a million times, that we should trust Sessions, and Sessions is going to. He's been collecting information since he's recused himself.
Yeah.
He's been running a separate investigation, and actually some of the posts that involve him speak to grand jury selections and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that Jeff Sessions is going to make a triumphant return.
Yep.
And instead of being a goat-like character, he's going to end up being a hero.
Well, I tell you, man, that's pretty phenomenal. If that's the case, because that means that was a complete head fake, right?
Yep. Total.
Yep.
And then for him to run against Tommy Tuberville in his state and lose,
Yep.
Which they knew he would because Tuberville is so popular.
Yep.
Being as he was the football coach at Auburn University.
Yep. Yep.
He was. They knew that he wasn't going to win that. That was all a big smokescreen.
Say that again, buddy. What was the smoke screen? I lost
The
it. 'Cause
smoke screen was Jeff Sessions running against Tommy Tuberville for the Senate seat.
Mm-hmm.
That was never going to happen because Tuberville is so popular. They knew that they were going to lose that, and he was going to come back around. But
Yeah.
for appearance sake, he looked like a jilted man, basically booted. A weak man that left his position when he should have stayed and defended Trump. And he should have been the one that appointed the special counsel. And as it looked, he looked like a guy that didn't do his job and was weak, and then went and lost an election. But this whole time, he's been gathering evidence and putting grand juries together, and he's going to make a reappearance, in my opinion.
Nice. So, I wanted to take you to, this was, let me see. This was from Snedhead Jessica Mercado on the dive that you did, Dan Scavino, and I think it's very significant. Let me make sure that I get you guys there. And let's see. No, that's not it. No. There it is. But then let me see. Okay. So that's where I want to be. All right. So let me go there. So this is Jessica shared this, and then I'm going to take you guys to the actual tweet, the Stormy Patriot tweet. Dan Scavino tweets real Donald Trump with his hand, like Todd, you had said, like the J, but it's also interesting that it also looks like a Q in sign language.
Yeah, I noticed that. The only thing that didn't, the finger at the top should have been more tilted, in my opinion, but it could easily be.
Yeah, yeah.
Because remember when JFK Jr. was holding the Tylenol bottle and it looked weird, and that was the J. That's what I remember it looking like.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't go that direction, but easily could be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we will do our job to protect the vote. Will you do yours? Fight, fight, fight. That was from 17. Your vote counts, and I believe it was from the 838. Went to that. I don't know how they got there from there, actually, because I'm not seeing the timestamp or the drop number on this. Your vote counts.
Yeah.
Let's see, Jessica, if you remember how we got there.
That was just the straight timestamp, wasn't it? The 838.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I didn't have the your vote counts part attached to mine.
Yeah. That might be 452 because it says archive bread post links. Let me see if I can take us there. What did I just say? 452. You took us to 456, I believe. Enough is enough. Go, confirm. These are coordinating. Owls, good hunting, 17. So that didn't take us there, but me reading that took us there. And owls, good hunting. What a coincidence that that we're getting the owls showing up again with the AT&T building and the Moloch. And also Moloch Brown, who owns Dominion or Skydle in England. Moloch is the owl. We've been pointed there. The one owl won, and another drop from last night. So so very significant here. Some of these connections here, folks. That things are happening.
How did they get to that number, Dave?
So if you look at the tweet, let me find that tweet here. On 838, it says archive bread post links 452 and 456, and a direct link 456.
Well, where does it say that? Because mine just shows the 838 post.
Yeah, I didn't see that either on the. Let me go to 838 and see where it shows up there. It just says number 456.
Maybe if you click it, I'm clicking it to see if it says any more information.
And I'm going to QAG too, just to see if it's different.
Yeah, I don't see anything there.
What was it? 838, yeah?
Yes, 838.
Um,
Because if I'm missing some information, damn it,
I know, right?
I'm gonna be mad.
So 838. Let's find. Why isn't the 838 popping up here? I'm not going to go down all the way down there. Let me go here. On QAG, it's on QAG, buddy. QAG.news. The archive bread post links 452 and 456.
Huh. Okay. Yeah, I don't have it on my on this app or this
so
site.
interesting. So I think we got to check out some QAG a little bit more.
You're darn right.
Yeah, because that's a hell of a link there.
Oh yeah, that's a big link.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right,
Great.
Nice job, Jessica.
Good information.
Yeah.
Now I can go back and redo all of my work for the last month.
Exactly. And here, of course, is the OWL building, which is 333 Commerce Street. And I wonder if anybody sent me the 3-3 that we saw. Let's see. Let me see. All right. Yeah. So on the video that you were trying to get to me, guys, thank you. What's that, bud?
Oh, I was just going to say we sent you a message on that.
I see it. Yeah. So we will watch it and we'll make sure it's safe for viewing because we're getting a lot of copyright infringement trying to shut us down on that. So we got to make sure that we're seeing these videos before they air. So we'll prepare it for Thursday's broadcast. Okay, we'll prepare it for Thursday's broadcast. Let me get to you guys here. We are over. Let's see. We're at 700. 1,700, 2,000. We're at about 2,500 people, folks, over YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and D Live. Want to welcome you here. My name is David Snedeker. This is the IndoctriNATION. I did want to address something here. First of all, let me see if I'm going to be able to read it here. No, I did want to get that up. Todd, what are your thoughts over the coming days? And one of the things we have not done are the deltas on today or tomorrow.
Yeah, I've been doing them. I just figured that with time allotted, that we would do the most recent Scavino because I knew that was going to be good. I've done the timestamp, the 1, 2, and 3 year deltas on all of them, and they've been significant. Let me go back and see here. I'm going to get rid of all this. Yeah, today, December 29th, 2019. There's quite a few. There's 7. Yeah, these are good.
Good. I want to, let me see if I can pull this up here. I'll go to, so you're at December today or tomorrow?
29th today.
And you're at 2 year?
At 1 year Delta, 2019.
Okay. While you're looking those up, I'll have you look those up and come up with something significant. And in the meantime, I want to pull something up that's been brought to my attention. Folks, many of you know that I, because I've shared this before, I've shared the information about my daughter's education. And in that sharing, the reason why I shared that information was not to brag that she's in private school, because trust me, without financial aid and the fact that I coach basketball for both the boys and girls at that school, is the only way in which I'm able to pull off a private education in Los Angeles. So, but there's been a meme going around of Rudolf Steiner and his quote about vaccines. And so I wanted to bring that up because what's being missed there is not much very good research, actually, because what's being missed there is that Steiner was absolutely against shots given to children, okay? And so that was his whole belief, and what he was doing was not only warning us of the shots that would be forced upon us, but also warning us on why, okay? Because he says that the whole trend goes in a direction where a way will finally be found to vaccinate bodies so that these bodies will not allow the inclination towards spiritual ideas to develop, and all their lives people will believe only in the physical world they perceive with the senses. Out of impulses. Now, this is Rudolf Steiner, who created the Waldorf education, okay? Which, by the way, is not to be confused with the Dalton School, where Jeffrey Epstein taught in Manhattan, hired by, we believe, to be Barr's father. And that school was founded by Helen Parkhurst, based on the philosophy of Maria Montessori. You guys have heard of the Montessori school, okay? So that is a very, very different school and has nothing to do whatsoever with the Waldorf education. So, and Steiner was brilliant. Steiner also developed biodynamic farming and how you farm in relation to the earth, the planet, the stars, the moon. So he goes on about the shots given to children. And ourselves, by the way. And this is very topical and very timely. And by the way, you'll find that a lot of parents in Waldorf schools do not vaccinate their children, certainly not at the level that other schools do. And that's one of the reasons why they're trying to put private schools out of business with what they're doing right now, and also force private schools to produce that kind of information. Very important topic right now because of the shot that's being, brought out right now for the CV-19. Out of impulses which the medical profession gained from presumption, I beg your pardon, from the consumption they themselves suffered, people are now vaccinated against consumption, and in the same way they will be vaccinated against any inclination towards spirituality. Steiner was a Christian. I've told you that here before. He was very spiritual. And actually split with Blavatsky, who was not along his spiritual realm, and I'll take you to that in a moment. This is merely to give you a particularly striking example of many things which will come in the near and more distant future in this field, the aim being to bring confusion into the impulses which want to stream down to earth after the victory of the spirits of light. He spoke at length on this subject and actually warned us about this, okay? The whole Waldorf education is based around, and the reason why I've brought up Waldorf is because the whole concept behind Waldorf is to not spoon-feed children, but to actually engage the children and draw the information out of them, draw the curiosity out of them to ask questions and find the answers for themselves, because the whole reason that we're in the predicament we are right now with the indoctrination is because of the public school, private school, meaning Christian and Catholic education, that have taught from a paradigm of puritanical punishment reward scenario. I'm going to tell you, as a teacher in that paradigm, I'm going to give you information to the child. Your job is to memorize that from a left brain perspective and regurgitate it back to me in an exam in which I will grade you on. So the reason I've brought up Waldorf education is because of the sheer purpose is to allow the child to learn from the right brain creative, and to also teach the child how to teach themselves, which I am doing here on this broadcast. Todd is doing here on this broadcast. We are giving you information, showing you our work, so to speak, so that you can then go and do it yourself, and many of you are doing that. So this education I've brought up to show you how that if you are in public school, if you are in these other private schools, that it's not about going to a private school so that you get this phenomenal education. It's going to a Waldorf school so that you actually don't, absolutely suck the curiosity out of the child, which I went to Catholic school, I went to public school, and by the time I got out of school, my curiosity had been sucked from me for learning, and I had to develop it again much, much later. And that is the puritanical, the punishment reward scenario that is so prevalent in the education system, which is the core fundamental indoctrination system. Because if you're in that system and you're given information, you're supposed, as fact, don't challenge it, because then you'll get a bad grade or you'll go to the principal's office. Don't challenge it. Take it in, memorize it, rote memory, and regurgitate it back to me. And it's a lot of dates of, the War of 1812. You got the dates down, but you don't have the real reason as to why man goes to war to begin with, and why the powers that be force us into these wars so that they can reap the benefit, the financial benefit, the benefit of power, and the benefit of keeping us fighting against each other rather than coming together in unity and fighting the people who are enslaving humanity and stealing our children. Do you see how this paradigm affects us? And then after you get through, 12 years of education, 16 years of education, and if you're a doctor, you're indoctrinated even further into the Rockefeller controlled medical establishment with the hospitals and the schools and the foundations. And so you're indoctrinated even further into the Western medicine, the big pharma, paharma model, which is absolutely destroying our humanity. And Steiner, before inoculations were even an issue, he warned us that they would do this to us and that we must rise against that, because he understood the intention that they are trying to make us. And he didn't even get into this, but AI is what we're experiencing right now with the inoculations coming out now, is that it has nanotechnology in it that is going to make us AI and communicate through the 5G system. Okay, so that he was way ahead of the game, and they're actually altering our DNA with RNA. Do you see what's happening here? This is what he spoke to. And he warned us about a long time ago. This was in 1917, what I just read to you. 1917. He also warned us about the Spanish flu. And he said that the reason that the flu, he also talked about and I talk a lot about Steiner. He was one of the most brilliant men on the planet, folks. If you've got criticisms of Rudolf Steiner, you got some problems, because you don't understand who the man is. He was one of the most brilliant men who ever lived on this planet, and we should listen to him like we listen to Tesla. He's at that level. And he talked about how the cell, that we don't get a virus, that the cell in its detoxification of something foreign to the human body, that the cell lets out, almost like you open a window in a smoky room to let the smoke out, it lets out the toxin so that it can be purged from the body. And it goes into the lungs so it can be breathed out. It goes into the bloodstream so it can be sweated out. It goes into the system, the digestive system, so it can be shat out or pissed out. Okay, these are the toxins leaving the body. That's why they're sick. That's why you go through illness when you're actually, detoxing. Okay, that's why I bring this man up. That's why I bring up what the things that he created. Okay, and how genius it is to understand. So he talked about the Spanish flu of 1917 was a time in our human history, and it was the first time in our human history, certainly of recorded history, when radio waves, radar waves were sent around the planet through the military communication via radar and radio. So guess what happened? For the first time in human history, our bodies were exposed to something that was foreign to this planet. And our bodies reacted to that with releasing the toxins that were being created in the now diseased cell from these radio waves. And that was what Steiner believed to be the cause of the Spanish flu of 1917. Okay? The education he created was based around the notion of the whole self, comprised of body, mind, and spirit, to create the base love of learning. To create the base love of learning. That's what I hope for all of us, is to have a base love of learning so that we can break through and shatter the indoctrination and grab and find the information for ourselves. The journey in very important stages rather than the destination. It's not about graduation, it's about the journey. The physical body, the etheric or life body, the astral or sentient body, and the body of the ego. It must not be imagined that they develop uniformly in the human being, so that at any given point in his life, the moment of birth, for example, they are all equally far developed. Okay? He talks about before physical birth, the growing human being is surrounded on all sides by the physical body of another. He does not come into independent contact with the physical world. The physical body of his mother and his environment, and this body alone, can work upon him as he grows and ripens. Even as man is surrounded until the moment of birth by the physical envelope of the mother body, so until the time of the change of teeth, until about the 7th year, he is surrounded by an etheric envelope and by an astral envelope. After the birth, the child resides in an esoteric body not yet fully separate from the mother. During this first period, the etheric body is only developing and molding its own forces conjointly with those, not its own, which it has inherited. Now, while the etheric body is thus working in its way into liberation, the physical body is already independent. See, the Steiner education through the Waldorf understands the developmental stage of the human being. In Waldorf, it's not about let's get him reading, in preschool so that they can read by the time they're in kindergarten. No, because that is learning the letters through the left brain. See, Waldorf children learn to read later than children in other schools, but their comprehension is superior because they have learned the language. They also write cursive. They write with graphite pencils. They use chalk and chalkboards. There are no iPads in a Waldorf lower education classroom, folks. Okay? Because in any computer situation, you type a J, it's the same as typing a K. There is no differentiation in the child's brain between those two, but when you write them and you engage, the first time a Waldorf child learns of the letter K, it is with a king standing like St. Michael with a sword up in the air in the shape of a K in the story that they're reading, because it was Steiner's intention to not have a child trying to figure out how to spell dragon in their most formative years, but to experience what a dragon looks like, sounds like, feels like in a world of make-believe. The creativity is drawn out in the child in these manners rather than the rote memorization pounded into them in the indoctrination. There has been an absolute Freedom of Information Act by Charlotte Iserbyt that showed that the actual intention, the actual mission statement of our public education system is not to educate, but to create conformity. And look at us today. Look at us today. There is so much more about Rudolf Steiner that I would love to share with you. But the time is tight. But I will also show you the following when it comes to Steiner, because there was a criticism of how Steiner actually did who he interacted with, okay? And so I'll take you to, this is a little story about theosophy, okay? And Rudolf Steiner's lies about H.P. Blavatsky and the Mahatmas, because he has supposedly been tied to them. This is the actual BlavatskyTheosophy.com. So people that followed Madame Blavatsky. This was their answer to Rudolf Steiner. Our view of Rudolf Steiner and anthroposophy isn't a very positive one. One of the most deluded and conceited of spiritual teachers. Steiner and his anthroposophy are extremely pro-Christian. Pro-Christian, folks. pro-Western, pro-Aristotelian, Aristotle, Socrates. How did they teach? By asking questions so that it engaged your mind. Quite anti-Eastern in many ways and built almost solely upon his own supposed readings and discoveries in the Akashic records. It's very opposite and antithesis of H.P. Blavatsky and genuine theosophy. Okay? Unlike Besant, Leadbeater, and Bailey, however, Steiner did at least have the decency and honesty to openly and readily admit that his teachings were the opposite of those of Blavatsky. He didn't claim that they were from the same source or masters. Okay? So that is from Blavatsky theosophy. You see, folks, I knew this was out there, and I knew you were reacting to it. And I was waiting to see who would do their research. I knew all this about Steiner. I've shared most of it with you about Steiner. But you see, when somebody tries to take you out, somebody tries to discredit you, it's really important that you look for motive, look for the source, and also do your own homework rather than jump to the allegations that are being presented. So what a gift to see how some people reacted to what was out there in regards to me. And what a gift to now be free of you, for those of you who reacted very negatively towards me. You see, this is bigger than me. This is bigger than you. This is a revolution, folks. We are in the middle of a revolution. And my goal is not to get listeners or more people coming to watch the show. My goal is to reach more people and awaken them to the reality that we are currently existing in, which we have the ability to change and transform at a snap of our fingers if we so choose to, if we come together to do it. But some people will try to divide, and that exposes their intentions right there. So, you're welcome for me to bring to you one of the greatest minds of all time, Rudolf Steiner, who, like 17, that we cover on a consistent basis, has warned us of things to come. This man warned us of inoculations, shots in the arm that are meant and purposed for trying to separate us from our spiritual connection to our Creator. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Todd, you find anything fun?
No, I was listening to you. I like to learn.
Right? Good stuff. Good stuff, folks. Yeah. And you know what?
Yeah.
I had Snedheads have been sending me, stuff and saying, why don't you say something? It's like, well, you don't want to give it any energy. It's like, you folks really think that I didn't do my homework before I sent my daughter to a school? Like I didn't know exactly what I'm doing? What I'm doing here was inspired by the fact that I was having a child, because I didn't want to bring them into a world I didn't understand better. And so as I grew to understand the world, I decided I was going to do something about it. And I was going to create change so that the world that she ended up seeing was a better world than before she came into it. And that's what we're doing here. And everybody that's engaged in this process, that's reaching out and finding sources and finding information and challenging the information they're being told and the ridiculousness of this entire pandemic and how we're being enslaved. Folks, remember, if a master sees a slave coming loose from his chains, that master will tighten those chains, will lock them up so tight that the slave can barely move. And what we're experiencing right now is the tightening of our chains because they know we are breaking free of them. So they must tighten them. What else are they going to do? Just let us run away and come together and bring them to justice? We are slaves on this planet to the people which we are trying to presently absolutely decimate. And we have in our corner Donald John Trump, his family, the Q team, all the autists, the anons, the keyboard warriors, the digital warriors, and we have a very, very large group of Snedeheads. We reached 660,000 people last week alone on one platform. And we're growing, we are shooting up like a rocket. Why? Because you are tired of being lied to. You're tired of being lied to by the mainstream media and charlatans who choose to profit off of false information. That's why we're growing. That's why we'll continue to grow. And anybody that wants to get in my way, I'll go through you, over you, around you. It doesn't matter because I'm getting to the other side of you. So your best move would be to step aside because where I'm going is freedom. But not just for me. I'm not one of these guys that just I figured it all out and I escaped it, so I'm good. No, I want to take you all with me. So as you step aside and watch all these people stand beside me, behind me, pushing me, helping me, guiding us, bringing supplies, bringing water, food. And as you watch all this, at any time, feel free to get on board. But don't step in front of us because we're not the enemy here. We're going towards the enemy. We are exposing the enemy. And in that exposure, we also expose those of us who aren't in this for the right reasons. All right, buddy. Anything to add?
Yeah, what you said.
All right.
That's my feeling too, man. It's a big thing, and we've discussed it off air.
Yep.
It's the biggest. We've many times said we can't believe that we're involved in this. Freeing of humanity for the first time ever, really. I mean, if you go back, this goes back. You can trace this back thousands of years.
Yep.
And to just have the opportunity that we have ahead of us to see a better life for everyone and our families and our kids and our children's children, generations of people are going to benefit from the things we're doing now.
Todd, and how many times have I said, Snedeheads, if you do not engage in this process, any humans that are hearing me, Snedehead, not Snedehead, if you're not engaging in this process, then you will fall prey to the next charlatan, the next person that will try to demean others to build themselves up, will try to draw you into their camp, and instead of challenging everything that you're being told. And I've told you, challenge what I tell you here. Go Go do your research. Go do your research on the stuff we talk about. The reason why I can talk about it is because I've been doing research on it for 14 years. You want to go deal with a rookie who's been awake for a few months? Go ahead. You want a veteran that knows what the hell's going on and knew what the hell was going on over a decade ago? Join us. Because I know where we're going. I know who we're going there with. And we are, every day that Todd does a decode and finds out more and more about how they're bringing us back to, boom, D-class, justice, 17. It's a constant reaffirmation of the things that we've been talking about for a very long time, and things I've been talking about for ever since social media, even before social media, when I was on Hotmail and I was emailing, I was getting whole lists together and I was emailing people about stuff that was going on. Watch out for the Clintons, man. Did you see this? Let me link this to you. Let me link that to you. Hotmail, baby. That's where I got my start. Okay, you know I'm old if that's where I got my start. Oh yeah. So brother, what did we find over there on the drop?
They're pretty self-explanatory. Of course, whenever you start the process here, then you go down. You start doing the timestamps on these too, and you're led to this giant. If you want to spend all day, just do a 1 year delta on today and December 29th, 2019.
Yep.
It starts out, I believe there were seven links, and then they're all pretty self-explanatory. They do deal with DNC and election, and
yeah,
draining the swamp, and but in order to understand it fully, you would have to take each one of these and do the same thing we did with the first Dan Scavino. So that's basically why I stick to 17 posts, is because there's enough work there for your whole day.
Yep.
I don't need to really go watch videos or listen to a lot of people speak, because I enjoy that, but there's always something inside me that only wants to trust Q and POTUS. And that's been good for me so far. That's plenty of work there.
Todd,
as you can see, one timestamp turns into, I've gone 40 levels deep off of one timestamp.
Yeah. Todd, some people say, give me the Bible and I'm good. I don't need to hear what somebody else thinks about the Bible. I don't want to hear somebody else's interpretation of the Bible or Jesus Christ or God or any of the amazing stories or the Proverbs or the amazing story of Jesus Christ. They don't need to hear that from anybody else. And by the way, and it's not coming from me either. I'm not here to teach you. You didn't dip your hand in holy water on the way in here, folks. This is not a church. We pray here because we know the power of it. We believe in it. And you are welcome here no matter what your denomination, no matter what your religion, no matter what your beliefs. And I'm never going to put a belief out there to teach you like this is what you should be doing that would divide us. Because this isn't about dividing, this is about unifying. So if I share an experience of mine that you don't like or you wouldn't do yourself or you wouldn't do with your children, that's fine. I'm not telling you should do it. I'm sharing something of my life that may help you. And most of the time when I do, it helps a lot of people, which is why we're, at 3,000 people live right now. So it's not about, don't come in here and put my coat on. Don't put on Todd's coat or anybody else's coat. Find the coat that fits you based on facts, measurements, preference, And that's the coat that you should walk out of here with. And most of the times, not the coat you came in here with because of the indoctrination that we've been exposed to, which is why we check it. And the ego, which keeps us from learning something new, because our ego wants to make us think that we're okay. We don't need anything new, and we have it all down, and we've got it figured out. So don't give me something new that's going to throw that out of whack, because then I got to reorganize it again. That's what we got to get away from. We got to get away from that kind of mentality. So, but Todd, this is, I look at Q and POTUS kind of like that. Like, you just read the Bible. You and I pretty much just read the Bible. Sure, we get a lot of outside intel. We get stuff coming across, but 17 has said no outside comms.
Yep.
No outside comms. Do you think he means, yes, but if somebody posts on Instagram on a Friday, then that's okay? Or somebody that tweets something that sounds really good and sounds like it's pulling everything together, that's okay? No outside comms. So that's why on this broadcast, even though we do bring in different viewpoints, like at Candace Owens, for example, because we're talking about something, outside of, just in somebody's perspective from outside of the queue. It's somebody's perspective who we trust or we like, but it's really focused on 17 and POTUS. And Scavino, because Scavino does the tweets for POTUS. He's the right-hand man. And every once in a while, we'll look at a few other things, folks, but that's why we go here. Because the Bible's good enough for us. Because we can decode the Bible like we're doing here. So I just thought of that.
What's amazing that you mentioned the Bible, of how many times these posts refer to it's biblical.
Yeah.
And in a biblical sense, there is a tie to it. And I've referred back, they've referred back to many verses in the Bible. And then that actually leads to more inspection of the Bible, than just like being led to one verse that specifically talks about a subject or relates a story. Is very helpful in these times, especially when we know this is good versus evil.
Yeah, bro.
It's 100% biblical, and it's 100% good versus evil. This is not, I hope President Trump wins the election. I mean, it's just not. That's
It's so far beyond that.
Yeah,
it's so far beyond that.
And I look at all the information. When I can't do drops all day and I can't do tweets all day.
Right,
sometimes
we gotta break out a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy listening to other people's interpretations, and I also enjoy other Anons posts on what I do, what we do here, because there's a lot of things that have double meanings, triple meanings, things you might miss in your decode that somebody else catches. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's what's great, because some of our snetheads, have sent perspectives on things that I was looking at that I wasn't looking at in that perspective, and it was like, oh wow, yeah, let's go this direction. It's been, we all learn from each other. If you don't, then you're missing it. You're missing the whole point.
Beautiful. Well said. Man, I think I'm good for tonight.
Yeah, I think I'm good. Get a good night's sleep. Yeah. Enjoy your evening, and we'll be back Thursday.
Yeah. Folks, I, just don't be a victim. It's so easy to slip into victimhood. And, again, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just saying that my wish for you is to not be a victim, and to not say, this is happening to me, this is happening to me, this is happening to me, just because here's the difference between an optimist and a pessimist. The same result will most likely occur for both. But the optimist just has a better time getting there. And oftentimes changes their stars along the way. I mentioned as Steiner says, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. 17 has told us, enjoy the show. Because 17 knows that it's a show. So they are wanting us to enjoy it because they know that many won't. My wish, Todd, for our viewers is to enjoy the show, because I know that you're waking up in the morning with a smile instead of a frown, and that you can go through your day, smiling at the world and smiling at each other, even if it's masked or blocked or the other person doesn't smile back. That's not why we do it. I don't do this to get your reaction. I do this because I'll do it. I did 200 shows, and I had a handful of people. It takes a long time to build up something like this. Unless, of course, you try to steal it. That's a little easier. But it takes a long time. And I'm honored to be here with you tonight. I'm honored that you spend your days and your hours with us. I'm honored that we're reaching so many people. And let's end the night with a prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for bringing us all together this evening to find the solutions to the problems of the world and anticipate the next step, the next move, the next thing to come along. We thank you for the wisdom, the guidance, the compassion. Thank you for your Son, Jesus Christ, and the grace with which our lives are filled spiritually by you, our Creator. Please watch over and strengthen President Trump and his family, all of his team and the Q team and the Anons, the autists, the digital warriors, the Snedheads, all those who are actively engaged in making this a better world. We ask for your guidance, and knowing that it is a spiritual war that we are engrossed in right now. And we ask you to strengthen those who are harmed. We ask you to bless and strengthen the dark hearts who have caused so much pain in this world and continue to do so. We ask you to turn their hearts for the better. Let them see their ways as being unrighteous and allow them to right themselves. We ask you for the blessings upon this planet and all the human beings around the world who are engaged in this where we go one, we go all paradigm of unity. Thank you, Lord. Thy will be done. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen, brother. Especially pray for the people that are struggling that don't have any idea what's going on. The being lost and not having a clue. This would be a really scary time. I hope that I pray that what we do helps people navigate through these waters. I mean, that's kind of the draw to it, is to help people find their way and not be in despair about things. I just feel totally blessed to be here.
Same. And Todd, I've never ended a broadcast without saying I love you, and I mean it, you and Cindy, and I say it to you folks, I love you. And it's not a tagline, it's I love you. Like when I see you, we're hugging it out, and I love the people that that get me, even the people that don't. I just love my fellow man, and I have walked through this world that way, and I will continue to do so. And I'm just so grateful to be on this journey with you all, and we are going to see a whole new planet that we can't even imagine, and we're going to be a part of creating that. And I ask you to look into the future and actually envision what you want for your life, because that's going to be a big part of changing. Once we change internally, changing externally. Good night, my friend. I love you. I love you all.
Love you too, brother. Love you, Schnetheads.
Be well, folks. Thanks for all the help.